What's up, everybody? I'm Brian Marr. This is Wicked Good Sports, and this segment is called Miami Minute, where we talk about my favorite team, the Miami Dolphins. And this season, I decided to cover the Miami Dolphins in depth each and every week, and it has been a trying decision, to say the least, because it's one thing to watch the game, be disappointed, and then kind of spend the rest of your Sunday sulking. And it's another thing entirely to watch the game, try to analyze exactly why the Dolphins are disappointing you so much, and then talk about it and put it on YouTube. But we're going to persevere. We're going to go through it. And I, of course, appreciate everybody who's along for the ride, along for the very sad journey so far. So the Jacksonville Jaguars defeated the Miami Dolphins 23-20 in London this week. Very disappointing outcome considering the Jaguars were on a 20-game losing streak, the second longest losing streak in NFL history. And the Dolphins were a team that coming into the season seemed like they might be a playoff team. Evidently, that is not the case. As they're 1-5 at this point, and they look pretty bad. So let's just get the good out of the way while we're here, because there's not a lot of good to talk about. Tua coming off of the injury, coming off of IR, he played pretty well. He went 33 of 47 for 329 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an incredibly ugly interception. I don't think anybody would argue with that. It seems like the ball got away from him a little bit, and I'm almost certain that this will be the only thing that is covered by people at all this week. I think a lot of the blame is going to go on Tua, though I don't believe he deserves it. Another player who played quite well was, of course, his old Alabama teammate, Jalen Waddle. He caught 10 receptions for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. Waddle certainly living up to the high pick that he was last season. Mike Gesicki as well, 8 receptions, 115 yards. He played very well, and that's it. That's the end of the list. There's a lot more bad than good, so let's kind of go into that. First off, excuses, injuries. Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, and Preston Williams all missed the game this week, all big contributors. Williams, especially last week, played quite well before getting injured, but they weren't available today, and the Dolphins could have used them because as we move to the bad, they had to start Noah Igbenogany, who they haven't been playing at all this season. I do wish that they had decided to use him before just making him start a game. I think he could have used a little bit more experience, but alas, I'm not a coach. He had a tough one. He was responsible for a good amount of the longer passes to Marvin Jones. That touchdown he was covering on as well. Not great for the second-year man. I still have hopes that he can be pretty decent, but right now he looks bad, like a lot of these first-round picks from the last few years look. Very disappointing. Not only that, the defense as a whole played poorly. One of the things that really surprised me was that they were bad at tackling. That's not necessarily something that's, very common. They're usually a pretty decent team when it comes to tackling, so, of course, not great. The Dolphins play in the second and third quarter. It's been something all season. It's been really inconsistent. Or maybe I should say it's been consistently bad, because the first and fourth quarters, they always seem to play decently well. But second and third, it's like a completely different team. Very disappointing to watch. The Dolphins really need to add a star running back. This running back by committee is just not working, especially when all three of them are having questionable games. For sure, Myles Gaskins not being able to catch today was odd, but not great. Malcolm Brown can't pick up 1 yard on fourth down. Also not great. Ahmed played okay, but he also looks like he was maybe a little hurt. And then finally, let's talk a little bit about the coaching, as we already touched on. Second and third quarter as a running theme for this season. Didn't look that great. And then we had extremely bad situation awareness to end the game. So, of course, Jacksonville had 6 seconds left to try to get into field goal range or try to throw a Hail Mary. They threw a quick pass. Brandon Jones touched the player, and they were able to call a timeout with 1 second left. Situation awareness should say, hey, guys, if they, for whatever reason, throw underneath, do not touch the player down until you're sure the game is over. Just don't let them get into the end zone. This allowed them to kick that game-winning field goal, which was very disappointing. So where do the Dolphins go from here? I'm conflicted. I mean, I don't want to be rooting for a team that's going to look this pathetic. I mean, I guess I'm used to rooting for a team that looks this pathetic, as it's been quite literally years since they've been consistently good. But it is disappointing, and I can't imagine Stephen Ross is too happy. I doubt they'll fire Brian Flores or anything. But something really needs to change somewhere. We say this every week. They do not look like a good football team, and quite frankly, they are a bad football team. Welcome to the basement, boys. We are probably the worst team in the league right now, which is extremely disappointing given that we came into the season thinking that the Dolphins had a legitimate chance at making the playoffs. Now, to add insult to injury, they traded their first round pick to Philadelphia. So even if they lose out and get the first overall pick, that'll be Philadelphia's pick. So realistically, I guess we can just hope that we're going to get healthy on all sides of the ball and hope that they figure stuff out and turn stuff around. I'm not going to count on it. And I'm especially, not looking forward to watching a lot of these games because it has been abysmal, and I'm sure Stephen Ross is feeling the same way, probably feeling a little bit embarrassed, all things considered. He doesn't want to have a team that's losing this bad. I'm nearly sure of it, so maybe we'll get some changes. Maybe the team will come together and rally. They already have 5 losses, though. 6 losses kept a team, the Dolphins, out of the playoffs last season. I don't see a realistic path to them making the playoffs. Am I being too dire? Let me know in the comments below if you disagree, if you think there is still hope. And other than that, I guess we can just root for the 49ers to lose since the Dolphins have their pick and should be decent, provided that they continue to play the way they've been playing. So, like I said, if you think I'm being too harsh on the Dolphins, let me know in the comment sections down below. If you think I'm being, not harsh enough, maybe you want everyone fired today, let me know that too. What do you think the Dolphins are going to do to change anything? Do you think they're going to trade for Deshaun Watson? I don't know how I feel about that. I don't necessarily think Tua is the problem. I think Tua actually played quite well in today's game outside of that one ugly interception. But like I said, love to hear from you in the comments down below. This has been Wicked Good Sports, and this is the Miami Minute segment. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.